Does it have the rind on it or no?
These are the good mangoes.
These are the mangoes.
It's mango season.
It is mango season.
Yeah, I do.
You like mangoes?
I do. Much I got.
Ooh, so good.
Do you want to get a picture of it?
Yeah. It's a tallow, right? It's so yellow.
Mm-hmm. It looks like butter.
You love it.
Yeah, go get a hand towel. We'll wipe it up. Oh yes.
Do you want help?
Yes, please. I like doing it like that because it keeps.
There's just little chunks of suet I'm frying up for the kids. They get kind of crispy. She's turning suet into tallow. So this is finished tallow from before. And then it's the suet. And what do? You just cut it up?
Yeah, I just cut it into small pieces like this, little cubes. The smaller the better. But it's also a matter of patience and time. So sometimes they're kind of big. But it works. And you keep it over low heat for a few hours until all the fat's kind of melted out of these. And then I strain it. We eat the cracklings sprinkled with salt.
And the cracklings are what's left over after you.
Yeah, these things, they turn into little crispy bits.
And this is the finished product. Look how yellow that is, how deep and yellow that is. Now, it's just like butter. When the seasonal availability of really rapidly growing plants occurs, then the animals are really assimilating all those nutrients and the fat becomes so much more nutrient dense.
This is the fat that goes around the kidneys and then down the loin. So you would find a kidney wrapped up into it, like this. It's a little case.
And you can get this really cheap.
Yeah,
if you ask your local butcher that's got grass-fed beef, you can usually get tallow, or rather suet, for super cheap, sometimes for free. We know people who go there and they get like 20 pounds of fat from their butcher for nothing. And you can make yourself jars of really good nutrient-dense tallow that's got loads of fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin K2. Now these animals are eating the rapidly growing grass, and that's going to convert the vitamin K1 into vitamin K2. Like when you look at Michaela Peterson's recent lab work, her vitamin K2 levels were just fine, even though she's eating no plant foods. Well, she's eating a lot of tallow and a lot of suet, and they're assimilating those fat-soluble vitamins and they're putting it into their fat. So it's got vitamin A, it's got the vitamin K1 converting into K2 when they eat the grass. So when you're doing organs and stuff, we definitely prefer to get it from naturally raised animals that are eating the rapidly growing grass. And it's some of the most affordable cuts of the animal. I see Jessica's got over here, she's got some of the questionnaires from our Keto Collective. We're starting our Keto Collective. Our next session is September 9th through October 7th, so that's this Sunday. So it's kind of the last week to sign up. We're going through all the questionnaires right now, kind of getting a good idea of who's going to be in the group and what's going to be going on. But it's our community-based coaching course. It's really fun. The last session we did was a little bit different from the first two sessions. We usually do every other month, but this time we're doing 2 months in a row because we had a few requests for a September session, and we had so much fun in August or whatever the month before September is that we decided we're gonna do it again. So actually I think it looks like Kasumi Chris, another YouTube personality who we had on the stream recently, who's recently converted back to a natural human healthy diet from being on a really depleted vegan diet. She's gonna be joining us this time, so that's gonna be really fun. There's quite a few former vegans in the group. There's a few people who are doing a more carnivorous style approach, and some people who are just learning to get started on a high-fat ketogenic diet. So obviously you don't have to be as wild as us and using all these you know, suet and tallow and eating the organs all the time, but a big part of the way we like to teach it is nutrient-dense, whole, unrefined foods. And there's ways to make it incredibly affordable and to make your diet much more sustainable by just using these nice cuts of the animal. I see a sweetbread here, right?
Yeah.
Sweetbread? So right here, this little bit, that's the sweetbread. You want to cut it out and show?
I think it's a thymus.
A thymus.
Should we shout out Cold Steel?
No.
For their nut.
Because something I bought from them broke and they don't want to replace it.
No.
Look how soft that looks. I might have to eat that today. I didn't eat the last one.
Yeah, it's this little gland all tucked in.
Is it the same as sweetbread? It's thymus?
I think so.
So fatty.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people eat that raw. I'm thinking about trying it raw. Maybe not today. And then check it out. We've got all the bones, the remains, mixed in with remains from some fruit, and we give that to our chickens. So backyard chickens love bones.
Well, they love all the connective tissues and the muscles around the bones.
And they'll pick the bones clean. They'll pick out the bones.
We get such good egg production when our chickens are eating the bones, better than any herbs I could give them.
We've got 13 chickens, and when we eat a lot of T-bones, we give them the remains of the T-bones, and their meat production is, the egg production is insane. 13 chickens very often laying 13 eggs.
Yep.
And what's cool about the weather here is they'll lay eggs pretty much year-round, because we don't have super short light cycles, and they don't really get through a deprivation season. Right now is the dry season, coming into the rainy season.
I also give our chickens sour milk and extra bone broth that we don't eat. Mm-hmm.
Nice, because we make a lot of broth, because we usually have a lot of bones, because bones can be really, really affordable if you know where to get them. So we get the marrow bones, and we like to make marrow for us to get the fat levels up, good quality animal fats that have all sorts of cofactors. Actually, you know where most of our stem cells are stored in the body? It's in the marrow. Oh, wow. So the marrow in the fat has all sorts of properties that you're not going to find in other parts of the animal, and that's why every single one of these traditional societies that's lived outside of the modern McDisney diet, the modern, the foods of commerce, these foods of degeneration, every single society that's lived without these foods, every single culture has prized organs, fatty cuts of meat. And a lot of the times, as Stephenson noticed with the Inuit, they'll feed the more lean cuts, the super lean stuff, to their animals, while keeping the good fatty stuff for themselves. So, yeah, anyways, the next Keto Collective, that's starting this Sunday. Last call to sign up is this week. It's a really fun group, community-based coaching experience. It's kind of like, we do it kind of like a course, but it's not, there's no homework or anything like that. Some people just want us to tell them how to do it, tell them what to do, and ask us questions, and that's cool too. But we've got bi-weekly meetings, live interactive voice chats, and Jessica's got something to say, but let me just finish here. Two meetings at least per week. And we do it on a Discord server, so you can just join from your phone. Some people join, a lot of people do it from work, no matter where you're at in the world. Yeah, so we do live voice chats, so you can just listen in with your headphones. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to, but yeah.
Well, we've made it so flexible. People join in from all over the world. We have chats at different times, so it always works with their time zone. Yeah. Or you can listen in later, and we've refined the process, so it's really, really fun.
It gets better every time. It gets funner and funner each round. So yeah, and then also we teach a lot from our books, the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, and then you also get a copy of the Ultimate Guides to Low Carb Baking.
Yeah, we do a lot of food prep lessons and help people source the top quality ingredients from their local area.
But do it affordably. Sometimes you'd be surprised you can get better quality food for a better price if you're just smart about how you're sourcing it. Yep. So also we like to work on meal prep strategies, circadian rhythm, right? Getting your light cycles right, so you're sleeping right. We work on stress management, Jessica said, which is huge, which light plays a big part in that. So optimizing your home and work environment in order to suit your health, your goals, and stress reduction. So we're all about a whole lifestyle approach, not just like, oh, here's your macros, here's some recipes for some fat bombs, and you're on your own. We really like to give people a deeper experience, and yeah, that's what we're all about. So the Keto Collective started this week, starting this Sunday. We're stoked to have Kasumi Chris. Shout out to Kasumi. She's been inspiring me lately with just her openness, and I love to talk to people when they're in kind of that budding stage, when they're coming out of more deprived states of living and being, especially coming out of vegan diets and healing themselves and feeling better and thriving. So it's gonna be nice having her with the group. I know she's really open about her experiences, and that's what we like, is when we do the voice chats and when people are in the text chat, it's nice to see the support that people give each other in that kind of community-based coaching setting. Because I mean, a lot of us, we start these diet and lifestyle changes and we don't really have other people to talk to about it. We don't have other people to relate to about it. Friends and family might not give a shit, right? I mean, if it has nothing to do with what they're doing, you don't want to be talking to them about it. It just seems weird. Oh yeah, I'm eating this high-fat diet, I feel great, or you know, I'm having some trouble with this or that. It doesn't really fit for a lot of people. So it's nice to have that community-based setting when you're getting adapted to these lifestyle changes. And yeah, so that's the goal. Again, here's the finished product of the tallow. This is what it looks like. And I'll put some shots in later of it cooking. And
we'll check these out.
The deep color, look at that orange color. And then here's the suet, which you can get really cheap. And then these
our kids love
for
these.
the kids.
Yeah.
These are basically just fried fat.
Yep.
Pieces of the tallow.
They'll eat it raw too. I like
suet.
this, and then it gets crispy once it cools, and I sprinkle salt on it.
And if you just have a little bit of the suet, look, that's all tallow.
You'll see this on top of your bone broth too. Once your bone broth gels and it cools, you'll see this layer. Depending how fatty and rich your bones are, it'll be thinner or more thick, and then you can scoop that off and use it for cooking too.
So Ariana's obsessed with these.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not just the protein that you're going for and you're eating the animal. The reason all these cultures are eating the whole animal and prizing things like the organs, the fat, and the marrow are because there are fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K2 that you're not going to find in such abundance in the muscle meat. Now, hey, just steak diet, probably better than the standard American diet, probably better than most diets that most people are doing, but we're all about optimal, and we're all about making it affordable too. Eating ribeyes all the time is not exactly sustainable for the wallet, although it is delicious. So we like to make it more affordable. Jessica's got something else to say. The video that never ends.
I'm gonna pour it.
Okay, cool.
I want to see what color it is.
You can never really tell until
Kind of
it's
a golden amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it changes once it solidifies.
So there's the color. Pour into here and get that nice deep yellow color. Now when you see kind of grain-fed animals, you usually don't get a tallow that's so deep and yellow like that. And it might be seasonal depending on what type of herbs and the quickly growing grass that the animals are eating. So yeah, we're gonna get more into some of this stuff. Derek Nance, who I talked to the other day, he's really into eating the whole animal. He eats a lot of like raw meat and stuff, which I don't really do. I don't really advocate. I think it's interesting to talk to people who are doing it. I'm not against it. I just don't do it myself. I like the taste and feeling of cooked meat. But he knows a lot about what to look for when you're slaughtering, butchering an animal. And so yeah, we'll get some more into that stuff later on. But yeah guys, the Keto Collective, starting next Sunday. There's a link in the bio. It's the last call to sign up. We're stoked to meet all you guys. We're looking forward to starting on Sunday. Now get off the computer, get off your social media, go live your life.
I need a car, you need a guide who needs a map. If I don't die or worse, I'm gonna need a nap. Best I'll be asleep when you get back. I wanna see it when you find out what common stars and moons are all about. Wanna see their faces turn to backs, their heads and slowly get smaller. I wanna see it now. I wanna see it now. I want specifics on the general idea. I wanna think what I should know. Want you to do me what to show. I wanna see movies of my dreams. I wanna see movies of my dreams. I wanna see movies of my